Hi everyone, in this video I will show you how to make this clay alien sculpture. This is part 2 of a 3-part video series. In this video I will show you how to sculpt clay and how to attach pieces of clay together. This is based on the clay alien that I drew in part 1.
When using clay in my classroom, I give each student a large piece of cardboard to work on. This helps keep the tables a lot cleaner. You could also use a piece of board like this. Another suggestion might be covering the surface area with a large piece of paper so that the table doesn't get dirty. You will also need some clay. I'm using this gray clay right now. It turns white after firing. I store it in baggies, and before I close the bag, I like to spray a little bit of water in there to keep it moist so it doesn't dry out. A cup of water. A spray bottle with water too. I like to have some brushes in case I need to smooth out the clay. You can also use the brushes to add a texture to the clay. And then you will need a variety of clay tools, carving tools, tools that can smooth out the clay, tools for poking into the clay, drawing into the clay, things like that. I will be wearing gloves during this lesson just to keep my hands clean so I don't have to dig clay out from under my nails in case I'm eating right after I work on this. But you guys can just use your bare hands. Just make sure you wash with soap and water really well after handling all the clay. In the part 1 video of my clay alien project, I shared with you how to design a clay alien. I did some sketches. I colored this one because this is the one that I'm going to make today with clay. So if you did some sketches, have those in front of you so you can look at them while you're making this project. When you get your clay, take a piece off so that you can use this extra piece for the eyes and the other details on your pinch pot. Put that aside. And then with your remaining clay, you want to roll it up into a ball. You can use your cardboard. Roll it up, try to squish out any air bubbles in your clay. Air bubbles are bad for a clay project because when they heat up in the kiln, it could cause your project to break and explode. So make sure you squish it and don't get any air pockets or air bubbles inside your clay. All right, once you have it rolled into the ball, you're going to take your thumb and you're going to put your thumb right into the clay, just like that. Then, this is why it's called a pinch pot. You're going to put your thumb inside the hole you just made with your fingers on the outside of the clay, and then you're going to kind of just pinch it and turn it. Pinch and turn. Okay, until it starts looking like a bowl or a small pot. That's why it's called a pinch pot, because we're pinching the clay and turning it into a pot. Keep going around. You want this part to be about the width of your pinky finger. If you make it too skinny, it could crack. If you notice any small cracks along the surface of your pinch pot, you want to get some water on your finger and you want to smooth those out. Any small cracks will tend to get larger as the project dries. So that's what I'm going to do here, smooth out any cracks. Back here too. All right, looking back on my sketchbook on the design that I chose, the pinch pot's gonna be this way on its side. All right, so you'll notice my top design, the pinch pot was face down. On this one, it's facing upward like this, like that. And the one that I chose, it's gonna be like on its side like that. I'm going to take my extra clay that I separated from the project earlier, and this clay is what I'm going to make all the features, like the eyes, the tentacles, and the teeth of my alien. So first, I think I'm going to start by making some of the tentacles. So I'm going to take a piece of clay, I'm going to kind of roll it and make it look like a tentacle shape, pointy on one side and wider on the other. Smooth it out. Something like that. Now, before I attach it to the clay project, if you just stick it on like that, it's not gonna stay. So there's a way to remember how to put clay on your project. It's called the 4 S's. So the first S is we have to score the clay, which means that we're gonna scratch into the clay with a pointed tool. I'm also going to scratch into the piece I'm attaching, back and forth, kind of like letter X's and like a hashtag, kind of like that, make a nice texture. The next S is slip. So we're gonna put some water on here, and I'm gonna put some water on here, and it makes the clay kind of real sticky, almost like glue. And the third S is stick. Now it's time to stick. So we're gonna press them together. I have one finger inside the project and one out, and I'm pushing down. Okay. And the last S stands for smooth. And for this, I like to use one of my carving tools, and I'm gonna press the clay down and smooth it into the pinch pot. So this part of the tentacle I'm blending in. So the idea is that you can't tell that you attach this at all. It looks like it's just part of the alien. And then you can go back with some water. You can use your spray bottle if you want, and give it a little spray, smooth it out with your fingers. At this point, you could also use one of your brushes if you have a brush and smooth it out a little bit. So when you're using the brush, it smooths out the clay real nicely and gets rid of any of those cracks and makes it look like it was one piece. Okay, I'm gonna add another tentacle and do the same steps. So I'm gonna take a piece of clay, roll it. Maybe this tentacle is a little bit longer. Okay, make one end flat like this. Then I'm going to score it. So I'm going to scratch into it. Figure out where on my project I'd like to put it, maybe on this side. So I'm going to score that part of the pinch pot. Then I'm going to use water and make a slip. Makes it real sticky like glue. Then I'm going to stick those pieces together with one hand inside the pinch pot so the pinch pot doesn't fold in on itself. Then I'm going to use my carving tool and I'm going to smooth it out. So remember, score, slip, stick, then smooth. Use your finger and then smooth it out a little bit more. And then remember, at the very end, I'm going to use my paintbrush and get rid of any of those hairline cracks and things like that, make it look really smooth. All right, so there's 2 tentacles, and you can bend it and shape it as you like. I think I'm going to do 3 on each side. So I'm going to keep working. I'm going to speed up the video, and you can watch my process. And then I'll stop and talk to you about how to add the eyes. All right, I'm finished with the tentacles. This is what it looks like from the front so far. You can see the above view. So I try to make each tentacle going in a different direction. Now I'm going to add some eyes, and in my initial drawing I had 3 eyes. So I'm going to make 3 balls of clay, 1 for each eye. I did need extra clay, so make sure you have extra clay on hand when you're working on a project in case you need it. I'm going to roll some eyeballs here. There's 1. 2. And 3, and you can make them different sizes. Remember, you're going off of your drawing. My drawing looked like this, so let's see if those are about the right size. If I like it, I think that'll work. So just like I did with the tentacles, you're going to score the clay, which means you scratch into the clay that you are attaching and scratch the surface that you're attaching that piece to. Then you're going to slip the clay. You can use your finger in some water. You can also use the spray bottle. Okay, that makes a slip, makes it real slippery and sticky and like glue. Then we're going to stick those pieces together. Put 1 finger inside the pinch pot so it doesn't collapse. And the last thing is to smooth. And I usually like to use one of my carving tools because my fingers are too big to get into those little areas. So I'm going to smooth it out so you can't even tell that I attached it. Once I get this eyeball done, I'm going to repeat the same steps for the other 2 eyes. All right, I've added the eyes. This is what it looks like from the front. Here it is from the back. So 3 eyes. I'm gonna add some more details to that later. Now I'm gonna start working on the mouth. And in my initial drawing, I had a lot of teeth on the top and on the bottom, a lot of pointed teeth. So I think I'm going to make a lot of little like cone-shaped pieces of clay, like kind of like what I did with the tentacles, but much smaller. Maybe something like that for teeth. There we go. So I'm going to keep making those, and I'm going to add them by scoring it first, doing the slip, sticking it together, and then smoothing them out. I'm going to do the top and the bottom with those steps. Here we go. Using the brush to get to the back area of the teeth and smooth it out a little bit better. And I'm thinking I might add like an alien tongue on the back of the mouth here. This is where the brush comes in handy. You can get rid of all those marks and smooth it out really nice. And it gets rid of any cracks too. I'm brushing the alien's teeth. You've got cavities, Mr. Alien. No, don't act like that. Open wide. So I think I am gonna put a tongue back here. And I'll come back to the teeth in a little bit. I'm going to add some teeth on the bottom, just a few. Gonna score the clay where I'm going to put the teeth. Gonna make some cone shapes with the clay. Score the bottom of that. Add some water. Press it down. And repeat. Maybe I'll add some little pieces of clay in areas that need some reinforcement. So if you see any small cracks, you could do that too. Any small cracks, as the project dries, they will become bigger cracks and your project might fall apart. So make sure there's no tiny little hairline cracks. All right, I think it looks pretty good for now. Now I'm going to start smoothing it out. Look at that tongue. So I'm going to take my brush and a cup of water and wet the brush and just kind of paint the clay, but with no paint. Try not to over wet the clay, because then it'll get way too sticky. Remember to write your name on the bottom of your project so you can keep track of whose piece is whose. Not just your initials, write your whole name. You don't have to write your last name, just your first name. Okay. And check the bottom while you're holding it up. Make sure everything's connected pretty well. Alright, I'm going to try adding some spots onto the alien skin with this tool. Just kind of press down into the clay and twist. Try not to press too hard. Leaving spots. My original drawing had spots, so I wanted to add a few. All right, I noticed that the weight of the eyes is pressing down on the clay, so while this project dries, I'm going to put a piece of paper towel inside the mouth, and then I'll remove it once it's dry. your paper towel. Eat it. Eat it. So now my project is ready to dry in the drying cabinet. I'm gonna go place it in there and let it dry for about 10 days until it gets bone dry. Yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. Here's what it looks like from the front. Here's side view, back, other side, view from on top. I like how those spots worked out. Maybe add a couple more here. This is the clay drying cabinet. I want to show you the inside of it so you can see where I've placed the clay alien that I just made. The shelves in here have foam lining on them. Usually they're full of other projects, but just the clay alien today. This clay alien is going to dry for about 10 days or so until it has no more moisture in the clay, and that is called bone drying. So we're going to come back and check it out then. See you later, alien. Shh. Oh, night night. My clay alien, along with my students' clay aliens, are now completely dry and ready to be loaded up into the kiln. This is my kiln. This is where the clay gets fired. Here's the clay alien. Let's check out how the project did in the kiln. This is the next day after I fired them. Oh, it's still pretty hot. You can see that the clay has turned white.
Now the clay alien is ready to paint with glaze. I will do that in part 3. Check it out. Please leave a like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed making a clay alien with me today. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.